Now, the SOL system, again, SOLD, strategic organic leads on demand. The whole focus is on marketing your business using organic channels, right? Because a lot of businesses starting out, or even businesses that are established, would much rather get customers and clients without spending a single dime, right? So, in my experience, a lot of people, I need customers, I need clients, I gotta sell my product, and so they boost an ad on Facebook, they do Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and sometimes it works out, but mostly it doesn't. And that's because you have to have a bunch of different campaigns that you can run and test to see which campaign or message is going to work better, which channel works better. Is it YouTube or is it LinkedIn? But that requires testing, and testing usually requires time and it requires money. And so jumping into paid ads right away can be a challenge, which is why I created the SOL system again, SOLD, Strategic Organic Leads on Demand, so that you can go through the 12 steps of the SOL system, and it's done in a particular sequence. So it's not just that, oh, you should do, analytics and branding and video and local and social. And that's usually the problem with most small business owners when they're trying to market their business. They're basically starting, they don't even have a plan, right? They don't even have a strategy. It's just oh, what do I think I should do? Or I saw this on TikTok, or this worked for someone else. And oh, I got this email. I went to this webinar, and you're really all over the place and scattered. And so what the SOL system does is it tells you to stop all of that, because it's never going to work. First of all, it's not going to work because you're not going deep enough and you're not going wide enough in one particular area to master it, to really get the results. Like, that's why people say, oh, webinars don't work or cold calls don't work. It's because you're trying it a little bit and it's not working. You're getting frustrated, you're getting disheartened, um, you're discouraged, and you stop. But what you really need to do is max everything out. For example, I'm going to show you what the 12 steps of the SOL system are in just a little bit. But what I want to show you is that the first, I'm going to show you the steps. Okay, so let me just do that, right? Okay, so these are the steps in the SOL system. I'm going to talk to you about why we do it. And it's not, like I said, it's not just a matter of trying to, get attention or generate leads from these 12 different channels. They have to be done in a particular sequence in order to start to develop the synergy and the momentum, right? Like, if you're like, when a plane is starting out, it's really heavy and it's really slow. But once it starts to build that momentum, it can really take off, and literally the sky's the limit. The same thing applies to your marketing. So what you want to do is you want to develop synergy. You want to get that energy going. You want to get the engines running. You want to get everything revving. And then you want to get all of the different parts of the airplane machine working together. And once they're working together, it can build up a little bit of synergy and momentum. It can get faster and faster and propel. And that is exactly what the SOL system is designed to do. We start you off with the quickest, simplest, lowest tech, like lowest barrier to entry, zero cost lead generation, demand generation tactics and strategies. And then we end with the ones that are a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complex, involve money. So if you don't have any time, money, experience, know-how, resources, staff, nothing, you can start with a SOL system and succeed. So the first step in the SOL system, so there are 12 steps. This doesn't work that well. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I might need to get another marker. And I got to make sure that they are all righty boards, because I don't want anybody to get a turn me. So I don't know if you can see these numbers whatever. Maybe I should just go back to blue. Okay. Anyhow, so the first one that we start with, sorry, it's very amateur. We start with video marketing. Okay, can you guys see this? Can you see it in the back there? Do I need to bring it a little closer? Okay. I'm trying to also catch it on the camera. So I need everybody to be able to see it. We do have the computer in the background, so I'll do an electronic version of this on PowerPoint or whatever so you can see it. But hopefully you can see this. Okay. Bring it a little bit closer. Can you guys see in the back there? You can always come up after and take pictures, whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so the first step in the soul system is video marketing. That is the first thing that you want to do. So if you're confused, should I be doing blogging first? Should I be, focusing on email? Should I be learning AI? Should I become a speaker? All of these different options, right? Forget about all that. The first thing you want to do is video marketing. And again, it doesn't matter if you are a coach or consultant or if you want to learn about AI. If you want to be a speaker or a coach, if you want to get into cybersecurity, like whatever it is you want to get into, you're eventually going to need to get attention. So it doesn't matter what you're selling or offering. You really should get into video so that you can start to promote it. Another reason why I really like videos is because it allows you to flesh out your ideas, right? The more videos you make, the more things that will come to mind. And as you're going back in your video, you'll find that you have common elements or themes that are recurring that come up over and over and over again. And then that starts to really build your brand and your messaging, right? And it's easier to capture in video. And now with AI, you can feed all the videos and say, hey, what's the common theme or an element in all of the videos that I make? So that is what helps you with your branding. But as you'll see, branding is not something that we get into, I think, until, let me say, video. We got local marketing, and then we do mobile marketing. And I'm going to explain to you the reasons why we do them in this order in just a second. Mobile marketing. What else? Let me have social media marketing. Yep, analytics. That competitive research. I'm not going to write it all out. Competitive research, competitive analysis, which are actually two different things. And then we look at branding. Then we look at content creation, content marketing, content syndication and distribution. Then we have campaign, then campaign planning, and then we have paid ads. Okay, so these are the 12 steps. Can you see in the back there? Okay. So these are the 12 steps. I'm going to come over here for a second. Can you see me? I'm going to move this over. Okay. So these are the 12 steps of the soul system. You start with video marketing, and then you move on to local marketing, mobile marketing, social media marketing, analytics, competitive research. Branding, like I said, is number 7. So why? So again, SOLD, strategic organic leads on demand. The big part of it, what it starts with is S. Everything is strategic. Nothing is just happenstance or by accident. It's really all strategic. So again, like I told you, we want to get that momentum and that synergy going, right? And so you would think, well, why don't I start with branding? Why don't I, get my brand out there? But the thing is that, especially if you're a small player, it takes, I'm going to put the lights on. Can you guys see? Okay, hold on, my phone lights. Is that better? I should have been doing this all the time. Okay. What was I saying? SOLE, strategic strategy, right? So you don't start with branding because branding, for me anyway, it involves finding out about a little bit about you and who you think you are. And then I also like to survey your previous customers and clients to find out why they did business with you, what they liked, and again, to see if there are common elements and themes that you may not have thought of. I have a whole example about a real estate agent, but I'll save that story for another day, but I don't know if I can. Point is, I asked them, so what are your strengths? What is your differentiating factor? And people will say things like, I really care. Like, you're not the only one who really cares. It has to be something that nobody else can say about themselves. So for me, for Mapdom, I'm a digital marketing company. Who cares? There's a lot of competition, but I position myself, which I do with all my customers and clients, as being a thought leader, right? Revolutionizing ideas, coming up with theories, observing, commentary. That way I get involved to speak on stages like this. I get to do podcasts. I get to be a guest blogger. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but that's content syndication. So with the branding, it takes a long time to do all of that, right? Like to get your logo, your colors, your messaging, to have that message permeate throughout the market so that it becomes a really solid brand takes a long time. And that's why we don't start with branding. We start with video, right? So, okay, I'm going to get into the 12 steps now. So video marketing, again, just pull out your phone, make a message, get somebody to do a video testimonial, take pictures of your products and turn them into a video slide, a carousel, right? It takes no money, no time, no effort. These days, you don't even have to be the face of your business. You can use AI. You can replicate yourself so that you don't have to make all the videos yourself all the time. You don't have to be pretty on camera all the time. You don't have to worry about lighting all the time. AI can really create all of those things for you. And like I said, video testimonials, taking written testimonials, turning those into carousels. Those are all ideas, right? You can take a PowerPoint presentation and turn it into a video. And so there's a whole bunch of stats on why you should be using video. I'm not going to get into all of them right now. Like, you guys can pick up the handbook later. But yeah, just start with video. And so earlier when I was talking about going deep and why, right? If you're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to do a couple of videos, a couple times. And again, there's no strategy. There's no consistency. What are your videos going to say? Right. So the first commitment is to make a commitment to do video. Right. And then you want to be a little bit more strategic about it. I have a home study program that tells you what kind of videos to do. I also suggest that you start with, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, right? I always say start with YouTube in mind because YouTube is the second largest search engine. So again, demand generation is not interruptive marketing. People are searching for solutions, searching for entertainment, searching for education. And if you are providing educational videos right when people are searching for something, you want your stuff to pop up. If they're not following you on social media, they will never find you. You will not be found in search, right? TikTok is great. Instagram is great, but they have different segments and audience, different types of audiences, right? YouTube is used by everybody of all ages, all demographics, all over the world. So I say start with video marketing and start with YouTube in mind. Now, when I say go deep and wide, again, if I'm just like, oh, do video marketing and you don't have a strategy, you're on TikTok, you're here, there, everywhere, you don't have any schedule or consistency or strategy or structure, you are going to struggle. And so with video, there are a couple of things. First of all, you want to make sure that you have thumbnails. I can't even tell you the importance of thumbnails. There are people that will actually create 100 thumbnails, that many thumbnails, just to split test them to see which ones have the highest conversion. Because every incremental conversion across all these multiple touch points can actually add up to a lot of money. So you can't just produce videos and put them anywhere, right? I suggest you do videos and you do them on YouTube. You're going to want to have thumbnails. You're going to want to have your keywords and the right sort of conversion monetized keywords in your titles for your videos on YouTube. You can put links to your website in multiple places on YouTube. There's something called end cards, right? There are all sorts of tips and tricks and strategies to just maximize YouTube video marketing. And if you're just doing everything in a shallow, scattered, sporadic way, it's not going to work for you. You're not going to get the results that you're looking for, right? So I say, oops, that's great. So I say once you have mastered once you've mastered video marketing, which is free, then you want to move on to local marketing. That's something like getting your citations in order. That means that your name, address, and phone number shows up consistently everywhere online, on your website, on your listing, on in your directories. And again, that's another place you can advertise and promote your business for free, is on local directories, right? A strategy most people don't know about and they forget, or it's underrated. So you want to be in directories. That's free. You want to make sure that all your name, address, and phone number appears consistently, whether it's a dash or your apartment first or suite number. Just make sure it shows up consistently everywhere, because I'm under the camera. Sorry. Thank you. You want to make sure that you show up consistently everywhere, because that is a true signal, a sign of credibility for Google. Also, directories, local, and maxing out your business, your Google business profile. You can put images on there, videos, right? On YouTube, you can actually do regular posts on YouTube. So all of these platforms want you to maximize all of the different features. So the more you use their features, the happier they are with you, and the more they're going to promote your stuff. So again, it's not just about taking a shallow approach to your marketing. It's being very strategic, going deep and going wide. So we say start with video marketing, free, quick, easy, low barrier to entrance, all that good stuff, right? No resources. You don't have to be the face of your business, and it doesn't take a lot of time. And then you want to move on to local marketing. So now that's the synergy that I started to talk about, right? So you got your video marketing going and you're getting a couple leads from there, and then you got your local marketing going and you're getting a couple of leads from there. Then you want to do mobile marketing, again, free tactics, things like using QR codes, making sure that your website is mobile responsive, making sure that it has a quick speed load time. Because if it doesn't, if the images take long to load, then there's a whole bunch of stuff around that with SEO. Then Google is unlikely to show your website in the search engine results page, right? So you want to make sure that you're mobile responsive. You can also be competitive on the Google Play Store, on the Apple App Store by creating your own mobile app, right? You can have a freemium model where you're marketing your mobile app. Download our app because, again, social media is noisy. People don't always open their emails, right? But if they have a mobile app where they can access your services or products, and then you can put them on a subscription model. So it starts off as a freemium model. And then they, like, oh, if you want to unlock this feature, if you want to do this, then, get on our subscription model for $4.99 a month or whatever. But this is very often overlooked, and AI can create mobile apps for you now for free. So these are all free tactics, right? No money involved, just knowledge. And that's what I'm here to provide for you, right? And then we go to social media marketing. So again, in terms of the strategy, we don't start with social media marketing because it can take longer to master, right? And if you're doing video, you can put video on all of the different social media platforms anyway. But it's like, are you going to be on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook? Are you going to post on those like 5 days a week, 3 times a day? You've got to master each of the channels. So it can take a long time. So that's why, again, strategically, we start with video, move to local, then go to mobile, and then we focus on social media, right? Once you're doing that, then the next thing we do is we look at our analytics, and that's something that the more sophisticated businesses do look at analytics, but mom and pop shops, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, startups, they're not thinking about analytics, but analytics can actually give you a lot of information, again, for free, which you can use to promote your business more effectively. What pages on your website are people visiting? How long do they stay? How long do they engage? Are they liking certain pages? Are they sharing certain pages? What is your, okay, stay on this side. Okay. What is your bounce rate? Where are people coming from? Are they using desktop or laptops or tablets or their mobile device? Is it mainly men, women? Are they coming to your website when they're at their job at work, which means if you're going to be running ads, that's the time you're going to want to run those ads. That's why analytics is important. Which social media platforms are performing the best for you? Which posts are performing the best for you? Who is looking at your stuff on LinkedIn, for example? What are the demographics on your social media? Once you know that information, you can just dial in, focus on, and replicate the things that are working for you. But you're not going to know that if you're not looking at your analytics, which means you're going to be just spinning your wheels. So again, that is why I created the SOL system, SOLD, Strategic Organic Leads on Demand, 12 step-by-step sequential strategies, laid out in a certain way to help you develop synergy and momentum until you become profitable enough where you can successfully scale with paid ads. That's basically what the SOL system is all about. So once you're looking at your analytics, then you want to see, well, what are your competitors doing? You're going to do some competitive analysis, again, help you to use that information in your marketing. Now that you know who your targeted audience is, now that you know what messaging is really working, because what happens a lot of times when people just jump into branding, it's all what they think, the colors they like, the logo they like, the messaging they want to put out. It has nothing to do with you. You are selling to other people, so it's about them. What do they care about, right? So once you have all of this analytics, right, let's say it's more men that are interested in your service or product or women, then you're going to want to have your branding in such a way that attracts men. If it's, academics and scholastics, your branding is going to want to cater towards and call them, right? If it's more millennials or younger people, then it's going to be different kinds of branding. So you can be more specific with your branding once you've gone through the first 6 steps. Again, the SOL system, SOLD, strategic organic leads on demand. We're not just playing around. Once you have all this information, then you're going to be able to start to create content, emails, newsletters, banners, videos, infographics, webinars, flyers, case studies, whatever it is you need. Now that you have all this information, you can start creating content, not just out of the top of your head because you want to, but because strategically and with sophisticated marketing, you now have enough information that you can create content that is going to convert, that's relevant. Does that make sense? Put up your hand if that makes sense. Awesome. Right? So once you've created this content, so this is what we do in corporate. We don't do things on the fly. We really do things ad hoc. Everything is usually planned in advance. You know what campaign you're having for the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. You know what promotion you're doing, what service or product you're offering. We plan this in advance. We create all of the content about it. It sits in files, and then we deploy first week, second week, third week. We're not scrambling, creating content last minute. And again, that's why this is laid out the way that it is, right? You get all this information, branding, content creation, content marketing. So now that you have all your content, now you can start to market it, right? You can start to put your banners, your videos, your graphic design work on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can start to market your webinars. They've all been created, so you're not panicking doing everything last minute. It's all been done in advance. So you have content creation, content marketing, and then content syndication. And this is step number 10, that I see a lot of people, again, miss out on because they don't know about the steps, right? I've got 25 years of experience in corporate. I've worked with multiple different industries. And so I see the different business models and I see the commonalities. And content syndication, you're not just relying on your own audience, your own followers, your own people, your email list. You can partner up with other people. You can get brand ambassadors who can promote you. You can get influencers who can promote you. You can be on a podcast, right? And then you tap into their audience, and then they become followers of you. So you grow your audience, your brand, your messaging organically, right? You can be a guest blogger. There's all sorts of things to syndicate your content so that the marketing that you produce is not just reliant upon you, but you have multiple people in multiple places also talking about you, evangelizing and sharing your message, your services, your products. So this is what content syndication is. There's distribution, things as simple as when you blog, have an RSS feed that goes into Google News. And so now that your blog message is pushed out to a whole bunch of people. And if you don't know about this, you're going to miss this step. You're going to be like, oh, I'm supposed to be blogging and I'm not growing. It's because you're blogging and nobody else is seeing your blog, right? And so syndication is important. And again, lastly, once you have all this information, now you can create some strategic campaigns. Previously, in the other 9 steps or 10 steps, what we were doing was just creating content, putting it out there, testing, figuring out which messaging worked, which audience resonated with it the most, which channels worked the best. We're just learning and playing and testing and gathering data and analytics. And once we get more information, now we can create actual campaigns. So we're going to create a campaign to chief financial officers in healthcare, and we are going to do a multi-part video series with a white paper on LinkedIn. That is a strategic campaign. We are going to a strategic campaign. We are going to have a referral campaign or a new, let me think of something. So this one was for chief financial officers in healthcare. Another one, you might want to be selling health and wellness products or beauty products on Instagram, catering to a different demographic, right? So you know the message, you know the audience, you know the demographic, you know the channel. So now you can start creating specific campaigns. Here, again, I'm sorry, I keep getting out of the camera. You can also create specific campaigns, and you can also start planning. So again, are you going to do something around love in February, something around new beginnings in January, something around spring cleaning, or refresh, revitalize your website, for example, in March, in April, May, you can have a Mother's Day special. In June, you can have a Father's Day special. So now you can start creating specific campaigns. You can create specific campaigns around maybe 4 people who are your ideal customer avatars. So let's say you're selling dolls, you can sell dolls to psychotherapists that they can use them in their office. You can sell dolls to teachers so they can use the dolls in their school. You can sell dolls to moms and grandmas and aunts and uncles and brothers and dads or whoever to get the same doll for their kid. And then what's another use for a doll? 2, 3, or just maybe those 3. But I usually like to come up with 4. But now you have 4 different campaigns that are selling your one service or product, but those campaigns are directed to featuring, highlighting specific avatars. And then you can have campaigns where you are marketing specific services and products. So I could be marketing my video in February, and then in March I'm selling my local marketing module program, and then February, March, whatever. But now the point is you can start to create more strategic campaigns. And then lastly, step 12, and then we'll be wrapping up my part of the presentation. But and then lastly, you move to paid ads. So again, once you know and you've done all these things, you know what's working, you know what works, you know what's resonating, you know what's bringing you the most money, the best clients. Now you can be very strategic in your paid ads instead of trying to guess or trying to figure it out as you're doing it. So that's it. That is basically what the SOLD system is. SOLD, strategic, organic. I know. Okay, I'm gonna move the camera. Is that better for you? Okay. So anyway, now you know what the SOLD system is. SOLD, strategic. I've shown you organic. It's all organic. Leads on demand using demand generation. The 12 step-by-step strategies that you have to do in this particular sequence in order for you to create the synergy and the momentum that you need to become successful, to become profitable enough where you could successfully invest in paid ads. Yay! That's it for me. And with that, I'm going to bring back up our host to introduce our next speaker.